Hello there Scapers, welcome to my day of release Magister boss guide. This is a very simple, easy and accessible boss. A lot like Legios but with a lot more HP and a few more special effects and attacks. But yeah, let's get right into it. So I'd recommend ranged or mage. A lot of people use mage, but if you want to use ranged, this is a setup I would recommend. The Feathers of Mart are really helpful if you want to clear corruption. Dreadnips are also useful. Weapon poison does work. Super restores are definitely needed to restore your HP level. A couple of keys are fine per inventory. Nihil definitely required for the accuracy aura of course. And yeah, standard ranged gear. I like to bring a Nightmare Gauntlets because I like to snipe while running around, and you will be running around quite a bit in at this boss, not as much as Legios, but you will regardless. And everything else is fairly standard. I like to bring the shield just for a bit of healing, but not required. And you may also wish to bring some Gothic restores instead of brews, at least swap out a few of them. And also Rocktails are probably not required because as your HP level goes down they start healing less and less. So that's basically it for the range setup. For the mage setup, which is what people seem to prefer right now, this is what you would probably want. So make sure your rune pouch has runes for vulnerability as well as your main spell, which for me is Air Surge. And make sure you have weapon poison, Feathers of Mart if you need to cleanse your corruption, which I wouldn't recommend because it means you do more damage. Gothic Staff, Luck of the Dwarf Switch, shield as well for healing if required. I wouldn't, not necessary. Dreadnips as well, and everything else was fairly standard. Obviously you can bring a Berserk Blood Essence or something if you don't want to use a Scrimshaw or a God Book. Accuracy is paramount, so don't bring a Shadow Nihil, bring an Ice Nihil. And yeah, what he said, Reaper Necklace if you are up for it. I'm not going to use Soul Split, so I should probably bring a Reaper Necklace as well for that accuracy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Make sure you bring an accuracy aura, Ice Nihil, and so on. As much accuracy as possible. Bring as many keys as you think you can last per inventory. If you have the max heal portal, then you don't need to worry too much because you can bank really quickly. Alright, so before we actually begin the guide, I just want to point out that this is a day of release guide, so there's going to be a lot of tactical and mechanical deficiencies. But having said that, with these tactics, people have been getting sub 1 minute kills consistently. So yeah, they can't be that bad. The bottom line is, despite not knowing how exactly the boss is going to work, you're still going to be able to get very quick and decent kills as long as you DPS. This is a very DPS orientated boss. As long as you're aware of a few of the key attacks and stuff, you'll be absolutely fine. So let's get right into it. Alright, so once you're ready, just click on the obelisk, use up a key and start the fight. So pot up, prayers, dreadnips, weapon poison, and start attacking him. So I'd recommend actually being close to him, ideally right next to him to start with. Build up to 100% adrenaline, but also use your Gothic Staff special if you can, and your vulnerability if you have dual-wield switch. That's his first attack there. He's using Asphyxiate. Now, you don't really need to do much. He will heal if he hits you, but just keep attacking him. And when he says dodge this, he'll spawn a bomb. Just click on the bomb to defuse it. Or if it's right next to him, it will damage him for 4k as well as you if you're next to it. So move away from it, let it hit him. Get your Sunshine ready, and that's his second special. He's gonna summon a couple of his guards. Now the key thing is that they can actually damage you for quite a bit, especially if they're using ranged or melee and you're protecting mage. So if they're using mage, then you're fine. You're pretty much fine anyway. You can kill them if you really want to. They've got 10k HP each, but otherwise just keep attacking him. Once it's Sunshine, just DPS, the normal DPS stuff. That's his third special attack. It activates when he's at 150k HP, and this is the attack that will start draining your constitution level. Basically, just ignore it. I would just completely ignore it. Once you start getting that icon, as you can see on the bottom right, you can drink some restores to get your HP level back up. And then that's another special attack of his, dodge this. It's the same one as before, the vile attack. I would probably have just left it there and let it kill the minion, or at least damage it heavily. 4k damage. But you can also choose to kick it away if you don't want to risk getting hit 4k from it. So yeah, just keep DPSing with your Sunshine. Try and get him down as quickly as possible. The second threshold is at 100k HP and it spawns opposite the main obelisk. It's got 25k HP. You don't need to attack it, but remember it's going to do the same thing as before. It's going to drain your constitution and it's going to hit 600 type plus damage on you per drain, and also add a corruption effect. So you can use your feathers and mart if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend it. Just use your restores to get your HP level back up whenever you feel like it, and just continue attacking him and dodging the special attacks as before. Watch out for your HP though, because when he hits 50k he'll say you will not defeat me, and that's his final phase. He will do attacks a lot faster, a bit like Nomad, and you might get overwhelmed because of the corruption effect as well, so you just want to kill him off as fast as possible at this point, and don't risk it too much like I did here. I risked it for the biscuit, I got the kill, but I died at the same time. That's typical of me, isn't it? And I also forgot to put on my Luck of the Dwarves, which I still haven't remembered to put on for any of my kills I've done so far. That's basically the kill. As you can see, I used up very little food. The fight was quite long because I'm not very good at mage, but it can be much quicker once you get used to it and you have a better weapon than my Nox staff. Maybe if you have a Staff of Sliske or the Praesel wand and orb. So that was a quick run through of an entire kill with all the different special attacks that he can do and how to counter them. I've missed out a few there, so I'm going to go over the ones I've missed out in this run. I'm going to show you a ranged kill, my personal record, which isn't very good, but that's because I haven't really tried. Start the kill by protecting from mage. Now, some people prefer to use Soul Split, but I wouldn't risk that until I'm a bit more happy with how the boss works and I'm able to figure out when I should Soul Split and when I shouldn't. So that's the first attack, the Asphyxiate attack. You can probably afford to Soul Split then because he tends to miss quite a bit when he does that attack. So Death Swiftness, just DPS as much as possible. As you can see, you can use Freedom as well when you stun him, so be careful about that. He just hit 150k life points here, which means he's going to start draining my Constitution using the main Soul Obelisk. So I decided to attack the obelisk to prevent my HP going down a bit. That's another attack. This is an interesting one. He basically barges you and hits you with a melee hit. You can predict it and you can resonance from it, which is exactly what I've done here. So as you can see, I resonance from it. I try and walk away. Not necessary unless you resonance from it. If you don't have resonance, you can probably try walking away or protecting from melee. Walking away is probably easier if you spot it early enough. And yeah, that's a nice little heal. He'll do that from time to time as well. That's one thing I didn't cover earlier. So just continue attacking him. DPS is crucial, like I said, and here again he does his Asphyxiate attack where he heals for whatever damage he hits on you. I forgot a few things here, such as weapon poison and dreadnips, so that didn't help, but the good thing was my DPS was good and that bailed me out of trouble. This was an earlier kill than the mage kill I did. This was when I didn't really know what the hell was going on. So he spawned some minions. One of them's unfortunately a melee minion, so I'm going to kill that one because melee will rip through my ranged armor. I also try and kill the other one because they're just a nuisance. It's up to you really whether you want to kill them or not. And by this time he spawned the next obelisk. Again, it's up to you whether you want to destroy this one or you just want to take advantage of the corruption effect that it brings. And he says dodge this. That means he's going to put the bomb out. I preferred to just walk away there instead of kicking it and just continue attacking the Magister. There's nothing more to it than DPS. That's my second Death Swiftness, probably a bit too much, probably because I didn't do enough damage in my first one. If I did, I wouldn't have had to do my second Death Swiftness. At this point he reaches 50k HP, and from here on it is just a case of DPSing and dodging the attacks that I mentioned so far. I think I've covered most of them, if not all of them, so far in this guide. So yeah, just DPS him down, eat up, and be aware of all the attacks, and you will be absolutely fine. It's up to you whether you want to use Feathers or Mott, but definitely use Super Restores. I bet they're going to nerf this. They're probably going to nerf how Restores restore your Constitution level, because I don't think that was entirely intended, how OP Restores are right now. Another thing to note is that they counter Soul Devourers for Soul Devourer tasks, but the Slayer Harm boost doesn't work, but they do give Slayer XP. In fact, they gave 50k per kill, which basically means 3 mil per hour if you're getting 60 kills an hour. Insane Slayer XP rates if you were on task, but I'm pretty sure they hotfixed that now. But that's basically the guide, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I covered enough of this boss for you to get going, even though it might not have been as comprehensive as it could be. But to be fair, there's not much more to the boss than what I've mentioned. There may be some more tactics, some more things that people figure out in the future, but this is a very easy boss. It's a Slayer boss, it's like Legions, so yeah, you guys are going to have fun with it. As for the rewards, they're slightly underwhelming right now, given that you need 300 scraps to upgrade a tier 82 to a tier 92. That might take a while. The pet drop rate is 1 in 1k, I believe, with a 200 threshold. But the good thing is they've added tier 85 power melee gloves. That's something similar to the Nightmare Gauntlets but for melee. So Havoc will deal an extra 7% damage to the attack that you do following Havoc. So basically Needle Strike but for melee with these gloves. That should be quite interesting. I might do an analysis video of that as well, similar to what I did with the Nightmare Gauntlets back in November if you want to check that out. And that's pretty much it for this guide. I'll just finish off by saying if you have anything more to add, something I missed out, something I've said wrong, hopefully not, or something else you want to add to inform your fellow scapers, then feel free to comment below. I will be watching in on that comment section very closely indeed. And yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.